Here is a review on factoring trinomials and polynomials. We'll start off by reviewing greatest common factoring. If we're asked to factor 16x squared y plus 40xy plus 8xy squared, we have to first identify the GCF of each of those terms. First, we want to look at the coefficients, which are 16, 40, and 8. And we want to think about the greatest common factor that we could divide out of those numbers. Yes, we could divide all of those by 2. And yes, we could divide all of those by 4. However, we could divide all of them by 8, which would be the greatest common factor. So we are going to use 8 as part of our GCF. And then we're going to consider the powers of x. Over here we have x squared, over here we have x to the first power, and over here we have x to the first power. So we could divide out the lower power of x, which would be the x to the first power. And then look at our y powers. We have y, and y squared. So we could divide out the lowest power of y, which is y to the first power. Open parentheses. And now we're going to take each of those terms and divide by that GCF. So we're going to take the 16x squared y, and we're going to divide by 8xy. Since that is the GCF, we're going to bring down the plus sign and the next term and divide that by the GCF. Bring down the plus sign in the next term and divide that by the GCF. And on our next line, bring down your GCF. Once again, this expression in front of the parentheses is your GCF. 16 divided by 8 would be 2. X squared divided by x would be x. And y divided by y would cancel out. Bring down the plus sign. 40 divided by 8 would be 5. X divided by x would be canceled. And the y divided by y would cancel out too. Bring down the plus sign. 8 divided by 8 would cancel out to be a 1. X divided by x would cancel out. And y squared divided by y would be y. Therefore, this is our factored version of that polynomial. We can check that we factored properly by using distribution. And we're going to distribute the 8xy, which is your GCF, to each of those terms. 8xy times 2x. When you do that, you will get back 16x squared y. When you multiply the 8xy by the 5, you would get back the 40xy for the middle term. And then if we multiply 8xy by the y, we would get 8xy squared. And that's how you know that you have the right solution, by checking and making sure that it distributes back to your original polynomial.